Hello, my name is Luis. Happy to be here with you. Let's talk a little bit about what's helpful as you enter these small group sharings in your pods. If you're new to this kind of community, it might feel kind of weird, so we can start there. It's a different experience than your average day-to-day conversations. Just want to offer a couple of guidelines or ideas to keep in mind as you join these groups. Um, the first one and the main one, if you take nothing else from this video I'm recording, is to approach sharing and listening in the same way you approach your practice. So when you sit in meditation, you might be invited to notice your breath with curiosity, with kindness, to pay attention. And I'm inviting you to do the same when you go to listen and to share. When you join a group, you might just listen and say nothing. So you might be paying attention to what's being shared in that same way. You might be listening, listening, receiving words, but also noticing what's coming up for you, noticing what reactions you have, noticing what responses might come up, what emotions might arise, noticing what you see in others, and just paying attention, just paying attention. In that way, sharing becomes a different way of meditating. So the object of meditation is not the breath, but what's being shared and the space you're sharing with others. So um, bringing kindness, curiosity, openness to the way you listen and hold space, that'll take care of most things. So that was the main point. If you notice as you're paying attention, if you notice you want to share something, then I will suggest a couple of things to keep in mind. Let your group know. Raise your hand like this or your Zoom hand, however you want. Just let them know you want to share, and share from what's true for you. Share from your own experience. Speak from the I. It could look something like, during practice, I felt that whatever, or when I heard you say this, what I noticed was, so you notice that I'm speaking about what's happening for me, even if it's in connection with something else that's happening in the group. Um, that's super important because then it helps you feel more authentic and it helps everyone feel more safe. Along those lines, also maybe avoiding generalizing or making assumptions. And it can be an opportunity to practice. Even if when I notice that I have an assumption, I could say something like, oh, I'm noticing that I have this judgment or assumption about this or that, and I can just become curious about it and explore it in a way that's kind and curious and generous. Um, and maybe you relate with the experience that I have often, that when I'm listening, I have ideas of how to give advice and how to tell someone how to fix something they're talking about. And I would encourage you to listen to that and just drop it. Even if you have the most wonderful advice, just let it go and see how that feels, how it feels to just gift your presence, and how it feels to receive that as well. So creating a space where only one person is talking at a time, and there's no cross talking, as we call it. There's no like giving advice, interrupting, and judging. It's just a collective field of awareness. So play with those things and see how they feel. Um, Being mindful also of sharing only what you feel comfortable sharing, and allowing that to be true for others as well. We all have different triggers, maybe different trauma histories. So what might be very easy for you to talk about might be very hard for someone else, and vice versa. So being mindful of being kind, respecting boundaries. We may have boundaries we don't know about, and we may you might pick up on them. So being mindful of that and just being caring and conscious. And the last thing is about timekeeping. Very practical, very important. You'll have a set limit of time to share with your group. You will most likely know about it. You may even have a counter in your window. So being mindful, I like to think about it as in, take space, but also make space. So allowing everyone that wants to share to have a chance to do so. And it doesn't mean that like to cut it evenly and like, oh, 3 minutes for you and three for you. Although you might want to do that. I often have a timer on my phone when I'm sharing, so I'm keeping track of it. Um, but it's mostly about making sure that anyone who wants to share has a chance to do so. And again, it's just paying attention. If you notice that you feel like you're taking too much space, just notice that and you can name it as an experience. So a few things to think about. I hope this helps, and I hope to see you around in the groups and have fun, and also hope it's meaningful as an experience. See you soon.